what is one utterly unique aspect of your field of chaplaincy?
I don't know if this is like strict to hospital, but it's one thing that I enjoy the most out of what I do, is the diversity of who I get to be with. So at Emory Decatur, we function as interfaith chaplains, and we call on other religious leaders when necessary. And there are a lot of moments where we do that. But we visit everybody, no matter their religion, race, ethnicity, language, and that goes for staff as well. And some of my most valued experiences with patients and families are those who are different from me. And to really just sit and actively listen to what they're going through and connect the dots between their spiritual values and their physical needs, and work with the hospital team. We are part of the healthcare team, so we are involved in medical rounds and interdisciplinary team meetings when discussing patient care. And so the diversity and the involvement in the healthcare teams are the two things that I value the most.
This might not be specific to all higher ed chaplains, but one of the coolest things that I think I get to do in my work is that our office, so we're the Office of Spiritual and Religious Life, we work with the medical school when students are in the cadaver labs for medical students, PA, so physician's assistants, and physical therapy program. They all work in the cadaver lab. And on the first day, before they have they call it the first cut day, before they do that, at least one of the chaplains is in the anatomy lab with the students, and we do sort of a processing of like, what are you feeling? You're about to be around to this body, you're about to be working on this body. And then we go in throughout the semester a couple of times. And then at the end of the semester, we do a service of gratitude with the students where they get to either offer reflections, and their faculty member helps with that as well. And then we also facilitate a memorial service for the families of the donors once a year. And that is in conjunction with students from Morehouse, because the program is with both schools. And this was my second day in this role. I went to a service of gratitude, and that might be why I love it so much, but it's one of the most unique things I think that we get to do. So obviously not every school has a medical school, but it's like, I think it shows the reach that a chaplaincy office can have in higher ed across all programs and degree programs. But that is one of the coolest things that I get to do.
What I feel is unique is that we get to be a space where there's like no cameras for once. I think that most of the ladies can appreciate a space where they can feel just seen for who they are, and even who they're journeying to be. I think they really appreciate a sacred space where they could just feel like themselves for once. I love that one of the things that we get to do is to offer that space, but also a part of it that's also unique is during the high intensity of a season, we get to offer a word of encouragement. But also what we've done this season, and I think the last season too, is we also approach it from a womanist point of view. And so the theology of like a house that I may belong to in my denomination, I don't have to worry about the restrictions of what we preach to them. It's more or less like we can speak womanist specifically to them, to their struggle, to what they're dealing with in the WNBA, in the league. Even where they play, we get to bring spirituality to the fact that they have sacred bodies and sacred things that they need to do for their bodies, rituals of self-care. So we've been able to kind of twist it a little bit to give them a different type of care, a very intentional type of care during a very stressful season where they might be new on a team and still trying to find community and belonging, struggling with an injury, struggling with identity, some specific things there. So those are the two unique things I'd lift.
Not only are we working with the offenders there at the unit, but we also work with the families as they're going into reentry, which means that we follow through, not just as a chaplain. What happens is that we continue to talk to their parents and encourage the parents or the loved one or the husband or the spouse or the children that they have. What we do is actually we help them reconnect to the family and how to readjust, how to modify and adjust in the real world. Because as you're mentoring them on the inside of barbed wire, remember, they're going to go home one day, or we hope. And what we do is we continue to follow up with them on the outside, behind, on the other side of what the people call the free world. The amazing part is this world isn't free. The gospel is the only thing that is free. But this free world that everybody's always in a hurry to, sometimes gets them down. So you'd be amazed in how many telephone calls as a chaplain you will get at the unit from people that have already gone home. It could have been 6 months, it could have been 5 years. And so says, is this Chaplain Gomez, And I say, yes. And do you remember me? Well, the problem is, when they start talking to you and they kind of say certain things, you might remember them, but half of the time you don't. But when you listen to them about their situation and their circumstance or trauma or issue, you're also on the telephone trying to help somebody not come back in and let recidivism go down.